Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oz Talk for 5/14/2025. I'm Smitty. Going to call my man Ronnie in here in a second. Got a fun show for you tonight, I think. We'll find out as we get going here. We're going to start off where we always start, a little KDJ talk to pay the bills. And then Ronnie and I are going to have a little bit of an interview as per the usual. So let's bring in my main man, Ronaldo.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Man, you know what's going on. Tomorrow is the grand finale of this year of school. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm looking forward to some time away from other people's kids.
I bet you are, man.
it's been tough, man. We just had our last track meet yesterday, and normally we have, last track meet and then a week and a half of school, but it's just been bang, 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 and I am ready.
Yeah, time.
Yep. And you've been driving all over, you said?
Man, I took a new role with Pi Barker, so I'm all over the Western U.S. now. Whether it's in the air, on the ground, having a good time doing it. But it's stressful. It's a lot of responsibility, but I'm loving what I'm doing.
Good. Good. Yeah. I try to avoid stress and things that are too hard. But in a few years, I'm going to be looking for a fire extinguisher exchange job.
I know a guy.
All right. Good. Because I'm serious about that. So,
I still know a
hey,
guy.
anything disc golf going on with you?
Man, I wish I could say I've been out there playing more than what I have been. I played a tournament a couple weeks ago. It's the first tournament I played in quite a while. Really just trying to get out there and get a little practice in. We head to Minneapolis for Masters Worlds in like 47 days or something like that. So a man's got to get his golf game in shape.
Yeah. Well, not more than just our golf games. We're going to have to get our lazy fat butts in shape as well.
That's too.
We're going to be playing some classic courses. Kaposha, it looks like it's up and down. Blue Ribbon Pines looks more flat, but dude, we're gonna be loving it. I can't wait to get up there and check that out. The disc golf looks amazing. I've met so many great disc golfers from Minnesota. In fact, I've never met a jerk from Minnesota. I'm sure they exist, but I haven't met one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just saw a couple of them, the Minnesota dudes, play real well this last week at the Tim Solinsky. I've personally never played with Daniel Polk. Obviously, both of us know Kale a little bit, and Kale's could be a nicer guy. So, yeah, excited to get up there and see all the old guys this summer, like we have the last couple of years. So, really looking forward. I just want to get my fat butt in shape, and then get my fat butt's golf game in shape too, so I don't go embarrass myself.
I think you'll be just fine. But yeah, I'm in the middle of quite a swing here, disc golf wise. Last weekend I ran the Little Apple Open. This weekend I'm doing the Fling here in Derby. The following weekend I'm going to Miltonville for the Toodle Toss. Then I got a weekend off. And then I think that'll put us at like the second weekend of the month. I don't know if I have anything going on, but then we got Doodah coming up, and then I get to run Pratt this year. Mm-hmm. It wasn't on the schedule, so I hit up Winkle and tried to see what was going on, and they just weren't able to commit to it this year. And I don't want it to see it go off of the schedule, because I think that's just, it might be hard to get back on once it's off, possibly. So
yeah. Good for you for stepping up and doing that one. Hot and Cold's one that everybody, May Dennis. I think we're just doing it in May Dennis, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna do simple. I'm just gonna do one course at May Dennis. I'm not gonna do all the painted OB and everything. I just want it just to be kind of a throwback to the old days, where you just go there and throw the disc wherever you want in the entire park and live with the results type deal.
Yeah, kind of a harken back to some fun. Some fun and exciting tournaments that I've played out there. I love playing out there. Yeah, I'm glad we're doing that one. Yeah, I know you're all over the place the next 2 months. So
yeah.
I wish I was able to get out there and help more. My work schedule's been ridiculous, man. But I'm going to be making it at some point. Back half of this summer, if my wrist holds up, I'm going to be out there playing and helping run some events. So I can't wait.
Heck yeah. Well, if you get bored Saturday, come on out to
me and the Coop will definitely be doing a drive-by for sure. Megan was headed out of town to celebrate Mother's Day with her stepmom, and me and Coop's got the house to ourselves this weekend. So I guarantee we find our way out there to Derby this weekend.
Find a cherry limeade and a trip to Derby.
You got it.
So yeah, I know Lucas is going to help me out. He's going to man the tent so I can go out there and play. So,
well,
hey man,
you're winning a bunch of golf tournaments lately. I don't know if that's good news for folks.
Well, we'll see how this goes. I think it's time to pay some bills here.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's bring up some KDGA stuff. See what's kind of going on. Hey, by the way, did you like the new intro picture?
Yeah, the new logo, the pod logo. Yeah, I really like it, man. That looks slick.
Paid big bucks for that.
I'm sure you did.
So here we go. Kevin sent us the monthly KDJ wrap up. I'm so glad he does this. I would not have the time or the energy to run through this, but you can kind of see what Kevin's got going on here. He says the points race is up to date all the way through Manhattan, which was our last tournament. And you can go to the Kansas Disc Golf Association and see them. He would like for members to definitely double check their number of events. You can do that by clicking on your name, and you can see a drop down of all the events you played and the points that you should have earned. So he'd like to make sure as soon as possible, if there's a mistake, if he missed a tournament or somebody got put in as Christopher Smith or Smitty instead of Chris Smith, that can kind of make it hard to find names and results sometimes. So the sooner he can fix that, the better. The cutoff for retroactive points was May the 1st. We still love to have people join the KDGA. They can still join and earn points and qualify for the skins at the end. But starting May 1st, their points are only accumulated from that point on. So that's a big headache for Kevin to go back and refigure all the points. And we don't want to make Kevin work too hard. We want to keep him around. So over here on the other side, we're talking about the KDJ schedule, the last chance qualifiers. The way those work is the top finisher in each division who isn't qualified for the finals can get into the KDJ finals just by playing well at that tournament. You don't even have to win. You can be eighth place at the 7 in front of you are in. You're in.
Yep.
So Region 1 is the Frontier Open, which is a great tournament, one of my favorites to go to. Region 2 is the Flint Hills Open in Council Grove. I think that's Eli Smith running that. Region 3 is Thomas Park, which is always fun. Region 4 is, as always, it seems like, the Roundup out at Herman Hill Park. And then Region 5, it looks like we're doing a double whammy. You can go play some doubles in Anthony, do the diabolical doubles, or you can go to Hutch and play the glow doubles. I'm not sure how we're going to qualify somebody on a doubles event.
It sounds like two people. It sounds like it's a double qualification, a double last chance qualification. I've never seen doubles as a last chance qualifier. It's definitely interesting. And I'll tell you what, man, I remember some good times going out there on Halloween and playing with them Hutch boys. So
yeah,
it's cool to see that one on there.
I've never made it, but don't quote us on people getting in. That's going to be Kevin's call. All questions can be sent to Kevin Newfield via Facebook Messenger.
Please refer all questions to the management.
Yeah, not us. We're just
we're just dummies behind a screen. That's all we are.
That's right. So Kevin wanted to talk a little bit about what the points race can get to you. I'll let you make your way through this slide if you like.
Yeah, man. The points race. Each tournament members earn points towards the end of the season. Yeah, we're qualifying for the skins match, like you just talked about, and the last chance qualifiers there. If you already got enough points, you don't have to be a last chance qualifier. You're already in, right? So, and then the trophies for the top tier finishers in each division have been really cool stuff over the years, from Frisbees to I have I think a glass, an etched glass somewhere, and some other cool stuff. So the trophies for the top finishers in each division is always pretty cool, man. Each division He's got it up there. Each division shows the regional qualifier and the top 1/3 qualifiers for the points race. Both are subject to change every week because we have tournaments every week, right? We've got how many tournaments on the schedule this year? Did we say 60 or something, like some ridiculous amount? So Kevin's really awesome about getting that stuff updated almost always the week after an event, after the week's events. So the points are usually up to date by midweek for sure. And then the June 25 Oz Talk, we'll have more discussion about the end of their qualification. Sounds like we're having Kevin back on next month to talk about what the end of the year is going to look like.
That's right. That is what it appears. And Kevin is faster than the middle of the week. Kevin sometimes he's sending us a group message the next morning, says Little Apple's up. So pretty much as soon as somebody pays, he gets on it and gets it done. And that is amazing, man.
Yeah.
All right, so here is the 8th fund, currently at $535. You can see that way back in 24, somebody collected a $22 ace fund. And just the other day, or maybe it got down to 22, and just a month ago, somebody hit one and it was worth 760 smackaroonies.
Wow.
Trevor Woods, I suggest watching the Disc and Deals coverage of The Rock.
Oh, is that right? I have not seen it yet. That's enough. Well, I meant to watch it anyway, but that's enough reason to really and that was like on a league card too, right?
Yeah, it was right in my face.
I may have heard about that.
It was a good shot. The coverage isn't quite out yet. Lucas has some of it edited, and we'll probably do some commentary. I can't. Oh, man. It's going to be tough to do that last round, dude. I was so terrible.
How many folks this year have cost themselves some of this big cheddar by not being in ace funds? I know for a fact there was one just a couple of weeks ago in Goddard.
Ryan Clement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and seems like maybe before that, I might be thinking of Flights League, but yeah, it amazes me how many people don't pony up and get heckled forever. But we do happen to have a list of people who have ponied up. These are all our aces in 2024 and 2023. And you can see Trevor in 2025. Trevor got 380, but I do see a familiar face in both 23 and 24, but not yet on 25. So
yeah, that guy probably needs to get out and play. It's kind of hard to hit an ace when you only play like 18 or 36 holes. So I need to get out there and play some more so the odds can be in my favor. I definitely want to keep that streak alive.
Yeah, I'm doing some quick math here, and you've got about $150 in winnings, and 75 of that found its way into my pocket. So you need to hurry up and get back out there in 2025. Daddy needs some ice cream around me. So.
I feel it. All right, sounds good.
Right on. So yeah, once again, thanks to Kevin for hooking us up with all that information. It's super awesome to have that, be able to push that out and keep people kind of informed month to month as to what we have going on.
No, definitely appreciate that, Kevin. That's some cool stuff. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, all right, man. I guess it's time. Let's let the cat out of the bag, as people couldn't figure it out. I tried to contact Ron Rice. I'm pretty sure Ron Rice has zero desire to be on here and talk in front of people.
And why would he?
I'm going to continue to bug him and pester him and see if we can get him on here at some point. I think he'd have some fantastic stories. And then we had two-way, which I think Wichita people and long-time Kansas disc golfers would love to hear Jack giggle and talk about a guy with some stories. We're going to have some stories when we get him on, which we will 100% get him on. So we started scrambling.
Well, we ended up on a guy that we probably have needed to interview for a while. We can't tell the story of Kansas disc golf like we've been trying to do without talking to this guy. Luckily, we've saved him as kind of a last resort, and as one of these in case we had to go with contingency plans, because he's never been at the top of our list to talk to. But we're gonna bring in a world champ. Smitty, you're on the hot seat tonight.
Yeah, this is I'm a little nervous about this. Just so
You should be.
know.
I've got a nice list of questions. I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I've had to conduct the entire interview myself. So
yeah, I think it'll be fun. I hope that I can share some stories and some history as far as Kansas disc golf is with me. Yeah, let's do it. Let's start where we always start.
You know how we start. Just because you're a co-host, don't mean you get to not be on the tee here. So let's do it.
All right, let's do this. Here we go.
You know what it is, man. Do you remember your first disc, and do you still have it?
Yeah, 100% remember it. It was a glow floating #1 slice from Lightning. I had 1993. I had graduated from Hutchinson Junior College, where I did track and cross country, and went to Fort Hays State. And we were running across the dike there, and I saw these guys out throwing frisbees, and I thought, what in the heck are these guys doing? Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, when we were done with 2 days and had a little bit of energy, my boys and I borrowed some from the dorm. You could leave them your ID, and all of them ended up in Big Creek, 100%. So we had to go back and tell the dorm guy, man, we tried. They're in the water. We couldn't get them. And, so we ended up, I don't remember if we had to replace them or if we just got scolded. So I said, man, forget this. Drove my little Ford Festiva to Walmart with, I think, Jason Shanahan, who was my roommate at the time, and this dude named Tyler Shookman. And I all hopped in there and went to Walmart, went to the sporting goods department, and there she was. Front, right there. I said, boys, this is the only disc I'm ever going to need. So, yeah, she would glow in the dark. She floated. Gentle little right turn, even for a noob. It was a great disc, man. But no, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, apparently you did need another one at some point.
I do know where it's at, though.
Oh, you do? Where does she now rest?
She's well, I can't say I actually know where it's at. I knew where it was. It was in the upper shelf at Winfield Intermediate School, because it was in this box of discs that I used when we would do a disc golf unit. So it's probably moved to the middle school by now because the intermediate school is closed down. But yeah, kids were throwing it around. I had no use for it, and I wish I would have kept it, but it was well used after several years of cross country practice.
I'm sure that's a good story.
Yep, not as good as Harv or Bud, but it's good.
It's pretty all right. It's pretty all right.
All right, we'll take it.
We'll take it.
All right.
Second question. You know it, man. You get the dream card.
You know what's awesome about this is T. Rude and I used to talk about this all the time, and all these other guys. Who's your dream card, man? And we would discuss it and talk about it. And I mowed the yard today, and I thought long and hard about this. I mean, I have a long list of disc golf friends.
Of course.
A long list. I basically have two parts of my life. I have the running cross-country part of my life, where I have all those guys that I don't ever talk to, but if we see each other, it's like I just saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
And then I switch to my disc golf part of my life, and that's where I've got all my my best friends and good friends that I have now. And I got a few friends outside of both of those, but the majority of them came from those two places. But my top 5, my dream 5, I thought about it, and dude, there's so many people I could put on here, and so many people that I just love to play disc golf with, and I look forward to seeing them, even at league and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, and I thought, And I wanted to go with some dudes that are super important to me as a human being, dudes that I really look up to, and people that I don't see all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And number one on my list, the one I would call up if I had to have him, would be downtown Randy Brown. So I've always enjoyed Randy. The dude is just so laid back and chill and just such a genuine person. And I just love that dude, and definitely going on my phone.
I think RB is the most mentioned person for the dream card of any person of anybody that we've done on this segment. And I mean, it's got to be 10 people that have said Randy, and who wouldn't want to play with RB? I mean, that's just one of the most genuine dudes you'll ever meet.
Yeah. I've had some fun times with him, and it's always an honor to play with Randy for sure. Number 2 on my list is a dude that I used to travel lots of places with. I went to Pro Worlds in Kansas City with this guy, and we drove all the way from Winfield to Kansas City in that old purple 96 Tacoma. No topper, no nothing. So every stop we had to put everything from the back into the front. When it was time to go, we throw everything in the back, and we would just roll out. His wife made us these delicious brownies, and we were eating them and eating them and eating them. And about 4 days into the event, I took a big old bite out of it. I look at it, and this thing's just covered in mold, dude. It was just growing because it was in this hot truck for 4 days. Just moisture building up in the bag. But that was Brendan Hickman would be in my top 5. Just another one of those dudes who's just a great person.
Yeah.
I don't see him, don't talk to him. He's too much like me, where out of sight, out of mind. I'm never going to pick up the phone and call somebody, and he's the same thing. But he has reached out to me a few times in the last month via text message, and it's really been great to hear from him, and has meant a lot to me that he's worried about me as a person and what's going on in my life. So
that's a guy that I miss seeing, man. I miss seeing that guy.
He was good for me because we'd be rolling down the road and I'd be just going off mad about something. And we didn't really have a swear jar, so to say, but he would start going cha-ching, 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 and tapping his pocket. That meant quarters were falling in his pocket because I was breaking the rule. So that's a good one. That's a good dude right there.
Yeah.
The third dude on my list is actually a dude that I do get to see quite frequently, and a dude that I've looked up to as a disc golfer since the very first few days, first tournaments I ever went to that he was playing. And the reason I looked up to him is, one, he wasn't the farthest driver, but the dude can hit a line like he cannot believe always, and still to this day can still just hit a line, and he's going to make every single putt. I never see him get mad, which is another good person to be with me, because when things start to go south, I get a little heated and a little bent. And I actually got the privilege of playing with this dude this last weekend, Mr. Kevin Babbitt.
Yeah, I was pretty sure. Pretty sure that guy would be on there. That guy would be on my 5 too, by the way.
Yeah, he should be on a lot of 5s.
Yeah,
in fact, to talk about line hitting, we were playing a practice round on Friday, and he was absolutely stomping a mud hole in me. I mean, it was bad. And we came up to this hole, and these 2 huge cottonwood trees are like, I'd say 240-ish feet away. And you could stand between them and probably touch both of them. And I said, okay, double mando. And I thought it would take us a couple of shots to hit it. Kevin throws one through it. I don't even try, and we just walk off.
I think I might have saw this video.
Oh, he just nailed it. I couldn't believe it.
He's a stud, man. He's a world champion.
Yes, he is, and he's he's going to also be in Minnesota trying to defend that. And yeah, just another just awesome dude.
Yeah.
So, and my last person in my 5, and I think this is the first woman we've had in a 5. Don't know that we've had a woman in a 5, but she used to live in Kansas. She no longer lives in Kansas. And back in the day, after every single tournament, we would flip doubles, it seemed like. Everybody just didn't get in their car and race home.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always so nervous she was going to get flipped, and the player would be mad that they got a woman. So I just started taking her, and I'm saying, I'll take Mel Snodgrass. And she became my disc golf partner for life. That's what we call each other, the DGPL. And, if if I don't put her on my 5 and she's my disc golf partner for life, there's a problem. So just another awesome person that, I used to see all the time. Every tournament we'd go to, the Snodgrasses would be there. And they've moved on to Pawhuska. They come back to Beloit once in a while, but we don't see them. But when we do, it's like all these other dudes. It's like I just saw them yesterday. Big hugs, talk, hang out, have fun.
Snap right back, man. It snaps right back. I have so many buddies like that too, and yeah, Snodgrasses are part of that. Life just changes for us. So much as a lot of us had kids, we had families. Other things become more important in a lot of cases, and it certainly has for all of us. And a lot of times disc golf had to go on the back burner, and rightfully so. And it is one of that's a couple of the people I hope maybe come back after all the kids kind of do their thing and they're on their way. Maybe Mel J's come do it. Maybe we see.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I still bump into him once in a while, and Jason still plays disc golf.
A little bit, yeah.
Quite a bit. In fact, he played in a tournament in Pawhuska this last weekend. I saw his name on the results. We won't say where it was, but his name was on the results. So
we won't throw him under the bus.
No, we won't let everybody know he beat one dude, I think. So
hey, but that's okay.
That's secret safe.
It's one. It's one better than none, and who watches us anyway? So
true. Well, we got 5 people watching right now.
Oh, well, hey, I appreciate that.
And we had a comment from Ross already.
Well, you're off the tee, man. You're off the tee. We figure I better get a little bit of the pleasantries out of the way.
Well, hang on, we got one more.
That was one of the second question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we let that go. We let that go way too long. Disc golf.
My bad.
Your favorite one.
Yeah. Well, suppose you're probably expecting me to say win a world title.
I'm not at all. I'm not you.
Okay. So
I wouldn't expect that to be you.
I do think that was amazing and an awesome accomplishment that not a lot of people can do. But I can't put it in my top memory because I felt like I was going to win going into the tournament. I felt like I had a shot going in. So now the drive on 18, that might be up at the top. That might have been one of the best drives I've ever thrown in my entire life. That was so picture perfect, but it's not when I think about disc golf memories, I don't think it's the one that I'm going to be number one. And I kind of have a toss up between 2 of them, and they kind of end in different ways. The first one happened in 2005. I was playing the Kansas City Wide Open, and that's a long time ago. I was not a great disc golfer at the time, but I could do one thing. I could throw the Frisbee a long damn ways back then.
Mm-hmm.
And we started out at Waco, and after the first day, come in, and of course there's no live scoring. You just play your butt off, and then you go to the car, and everybody's like, somebody comes up to you like this, how'd it go? They sucked. But if they're like, how'd you shoot, Smitty? They shredded it. So I just walked up to the car. I was with Eric. Emac and I were traveling together that weekend. And after the dust had settled, I was leading the Kansas City Wide Open. And there were some dudes there, man. I had to look back to see who all was playing. There was a dude at the time. Well, Emac was obviously there. He wasn't a world champ yet, but he was pretty damn good at disc golf. A dude named Matty O, who was just a kid.
Never heard of him.
He was there. The farthest thrower in the world at that time was there, Avery Jenkins.
Avery, as I bet Avery was at this tournament.
Steve Brinster, Dave Feldberg, Brad Hammock was ranked like 10 or rated like 1025, 1030 at that point and was like multiple time Masters Worlds champion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then some chump named Ken Climo. And I couldn't believe it, dude. I was beating all of them. And go into the second round, and I had just got these Elite X Discraft crushes because I was a Discraft fanboy because Eric was on Discraft. And so, that was like what you wanted to throw was what Eric was throwing. And I was throwing these orange Elite X crushes all over that place. And after the second round, I was still winning the tournament. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't sleep. And of course, that was one day, by the way.
Of course, yeah, right.
That was just one day. So then the next day we go to Waterworks Park and the Flatlander, who could throw far. Woo! Nosedive, man. But it was at that point that I said, dude, you can beat some people.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost you. You can beat some people. And that's when I started thinking, hey man, let's focus in a little more on this. Let's just not make it fun all the time. Let's try to get better. And that's as cool of a memory as that is, it's up there at the top, beating all those guys that were kind of my heroes that were in the magazine at that time as just a little no name. But then the following year, this is my greatest memory. I went to Zebo's in 2006. I rode up there with Mace Man and T. Rude. And once again, you played for 2 days, and then you had a final 9 at Zebo's. And the cool thing was they would pair you up man and woman in this final 9. And there was some dudes there as well, man. There was 2 kids playing in the advanced division who, after the tournament was over, these 2 dudes just putted and putted and putted and putted and putted. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They were never missing. Devin Owens and Nico LaCastro were playing advanced. Right? And Devin Owens is often now regarded as the best left-handed player of all time, possibly.
I mean, he's certainly in the top 3.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there.
For sure. Yeah.
And we know Nico's going to go down as Disc Golf Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. The guy's been so good for a long time. And they were playing advanced. Coda Hatfield was playing open, and for anybody in the Midwest knows that at that time Coda Hatfield was a legitimate bad dude.
Legit.
Emac was there. One of my favorite Texans, the Texas Tornado, Nolan Grider, was there. And then Barry Schultz.
I've heard he's okay.
He was really good. But they had a final 9, and I made the final 9, throwing basically 3 different discs. I was throwing a Predator, first run Buzz, and a Challenger on pretty much every single hole. And hole 1 at Zebo's is just this long tunnel shot, which is all these big trees in the middle of the fairway. And this is why this is my favorite memory, because I did what I set out to do, which is make the final 9. And I'm feeling it right now. Stood up on that tee pad and I looked down this fairway, and it was just like a movie, man. Everything just went, ooh. And I could just see this tunnel, but all the way down this tunnel was what looked like 1,000 heads peeking out from behind the trees looking at me. So, but yeah, I got Kerry Berlager, and we came out with, at that time, I was disc golf rich. I think we both left like $700 in skins money.
That's disc golf rich, especially 20 years ago.
Yeah. So that goes up there with currently my all-time greatest memory. I wasn't sponsored at that time, but I think that's what got me on Team Discraft. That and Eric, obviously. But yeah, that was to have a goal of playing the final 9 and then getting there and doing it was just it was awesome. It was a great memory. And then after that, drive all the way back to Winfield from Dallas Fort Worth. Actually, I slept while T. Rude, who has one eye and was probably drunk, drove us all the way back home. I don't know what time we got home, but I got up and went to school the next day to teach PE.
Man, that's a good memory.
It was awesome. It was fun. It was fun.
Well,
all right. Now I'm nervous.
Well, you've done some good stuff since then, right? We'll get a little bit of the stat work out of the way early because I got some questions that are burning. 239. Now, this is a very a statistic that's not very telling, right? These are PDGA events only. We know that for a long time there wasn't very many sanctioned events available to us, but you still played 239 sanctioned events. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot. 95 times you've won, right? 40% win rate, and there may be some people who are a little confused on what the majority of those have come in. You've only played Open 7, or you've only played MP 50 7 times.
Yeah, I knew it was
in sanctioned events. 5 wins and 7 starts, including a world championship and a couple of A tiers. No big deal. 32 times in MP40, and won 24 of those for a nice little 75% win rate in MP40. But let me tell you, a guy who you didn't beat a couple times may or may not be given the interview. So,
well, I could think of 2 guys that cost me a lot of wins. The stat that I'd be interested in is how many times did AJ Cruz beat me in a playoff, and how many times did Kyle Webster beat me in a playoff? Notice those 2 clowns did not make my top 5. I'll bet between the 2 of them, it's 10 losses in playoffs.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, there's so many of those wins came in MPO, right? And even now, right? Even now, still winning at a pretty ridiculous clip in MPO. I don't mean to put any pressure or cause the old announcer's jinx or anything like that, but I don't think you've lost a golf tournament since May of last year.
Thanks.
So we're closing in, or maybe September. We're closing in on almost a full calendar year of a start and a win. So hopefully that streak continues. I will not be in Derby, so you won't be beating me. So feel free to go ahead and win that golf tournament too.
I'm going to try.
But let's get to the real stuff we want to know about. Everybody watching this obviously is more than familiar with you, knows you as one of the best players and ambassadors that we've ever had in the KDGA. So why don't you tell these folks how that began? How did you get your start in the organization, whether playing or participating, being part of the organization?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me see what this comment is first. That's Ronnie, Lucas. Guys don't see each other much. Well, how did I get started in the KDJ is I lived in Ransom, and somehow they got a disc golf course. And there was this dude way back in the day. Do you remember Sundance? Jeff Cole was his name. He's in jail, by the way. He tried to kill somebody or did kill somebody. But anyhow, yeah, for him and the other guy, he showed up in Ransom and was running a disc golf tournament, and I played the tournament, and he beat me and beat everybody. There's like probably 6, 7, 8, 12 people there tops, but he just kept talking about the Kansas Disc Golf Association, how awesome it was, and how there's tournaments in other towns. And so then we kind of me and a couple of the guys from Ransom just kind of started making our way around, which Ransom is way out there. So it was some time on the road traveling. And yeah, I just loved going to tournaments and talking to people and meeting new people and hanging out with people. And then Harvey showed up, and I'm like, God, that guy, he'd always get out, hey, woo, no warming up. And then in welcome to, or come to the Frizz, play the Frizz, whatever. And just all those guys, like, it was just like, just such a welcoming group of people and just always fun to be around. But the way I actually kind of got into the administrative portion of the Kansas Disc Golf Association, I guess, is Scott Reek was running it for a while. He took it over from Harvey, and Scott was going into the Air Force. So it was at the Ransom tournament. He came up to me afterwards, and we were sitting on my porch, which was literally right across the street from Basket Six. And he just said, hey, dude, I'm going into the Air Force. I don't want this to die off. I see that you have a passion for it. I'm going to talk with Mace Man, who was and still is number one dude on my list. And I'm going to talk to Kyle Klinger, and I'm going to see if you three can keep it running. And we've lost Kyle. Kyle's doing something in Colby that's not disc golf, but Mason and I are still kicking it along, and we've brought in some other people to help us because we could never do the things that people are doing now. So that's kind of, I guess, how I got into the Kansas Disc Golf Association and how I kind of got this leadership role in it.
Well, I mean, that's been a long time ago, right? And you like me, you've been playing disc golf well over a quarter of a century now, and a lot of things have changed, not only in the sport in general, but tournament golf and everything involved. What's one thing that's changed about disc golf that you wouldn't want to see go back to what we did in the old days, and what's one thing that you wish would return?
Yeah, the one thing that I would never want to go back to is the scoring method that we used to use on paper, and that TDs would have to add up all the scorecard. Because I'm looking at it from a TD side as well as a player side, that I would spend my entire lunch break rechecking scorecards, shuffling scorecards, writing out new scorecards, and it was a lot of work. And there was a spreadsheet that would tell you if your entry fees added up to this much, 32% went to first. You'd have to calculator it, and that was a lot of work. I don't ever want to go back to that, man. I like rounds come in, you check all the scores, you push a button, it's all there, and you can say, hey, you can write on the app, we're starting at 1:30, and everybody knows. It's that has completely streamlined disc golf, and that's a great change that I would hate to see go away.
Good for tournament, yeah. Good for both sides of the tournament experience, right? It's better for the experience too.
And it's awesome when you're playing too. You're on a heater or you're struggling, and you look and you say, "Oh my gosh, Ronnie's made up 6 strokes on me in 8 holes. I got to kick it in gear, man." Or you can say, "Dude, I'm up 5-3 to go. The only thing I can do is lose the tournament by throwing over the pond. I'll just go around the dang thing." It's changed.
Absolutely.
It's made disc golf better that way as well.
What's
awesome to go back and look at scores from a tournament 5 years ago. There's just a record of them. It's amazing.
The archive ability is great too.
Yeah.
What do you want to come back? It doesn't have to be tournament disc golf or anything like that. Just what about the game do you wish we could roll it back 20 years or something like that?
I just wish people would stick around and hang out after the events, and not have to be the first one gone. And that people are so spoiled nowadays of picking through discs to get what they want, that I'll be trying to figure out the final payout and get all that organized, and people are just going through the disc. How much is this? How much is this? And that wears me out. Just the whole bag of discs back in the day
Yeah.
was so much better. But yeah, I just wish people would hang out and just chill. Like when I see Dan Dawkin and Mike Snyder and those guys at a tournament, just sitting there drinking a beer, smoking a stogie and Bobo, hanging out with them. I'm like, man, that's the part of disc golf that I miss.
The camaraderie, right? It's the camaraderie is really what it would be for me too.
Yeah.
And I'm as guilty of it as anybody, man. When the tournament's over or when I've helped you put everything away, man, I'm ready to get home. It's been a long day. You got family obligations, you got whatever's going on. But I miss the days of having Harv say come to the Frizz and everybody chilling after the for payout. And then like you said, man, so many times, even if it was 6 o'clock on a Saturday and the sun was going to be going down, who's playing doubles?
Flip it up. Let's go.
Doubles, right? Or sitting on chairs and putting on our ass from 40 feet, hanging out, drinking having a cold one at the truck or whatever,
Yeah.
So those are some of the fun times that seem to be gone now that I wish could come back a little bit. I'm with you, man.
I mean, there's still small pockets of it that go on. When I was pulling out of the park in Manhattan, which I know that you're not a huge Manhattan fan. You've had a couple of bad experiences there at Little Apple, but I just think that park is just so beautiful and awesome.
Yes.
And the trees are so big. And there was a Darren Bottom in a small group yakking it up and hanging out over here. I sat with them for probably 35 or 40 minutes, just hamming it up. And then there was the whole Manhattan crew over here underneath the pavilion, just all hanging out and just enjoying each other and enjoying their disc golf family versus, hey, I gotta go, man. Can you PayPal me?
Yeah.
Or can I get my payout at the next event? Just type deal.
Yeah. And I get it, man. People are busy and life's busier now than it was even 20 years ago. But yeah, I'm with you. That's something if I could bring something back, it would definitely be the camaraderie.
Yeah, 100%.
You just leads me right on the next one. What's you've played a ton of tournaments, man. 239 sanctioned, and I don't think we could count the amount of unsanctioned tournaments. But
yeah,
what's the fun event, man? What's the most fun you've ever had at a disc golf tournament?
Oh God!
And I know it's going to be a hard one to pick, but
yeah, I used to have too much fun at every tournament. So it's
some of us have known you for a long time, so yeah, we know.
The most fun is probably the Pimping the Holes Open back in the day at Ransom when we would get 23 people there and they were all my friends and that'd be about the only ones that would show up. And we had so many weird things happen there and so much just craziness. It was just always a blast to host everybody. At that time I was married and my in-laws lived right on the course and people would just pack in there, dude. It would be elbows to what skis throughout the entire house. We would all just be in there just partying all night and play disc golf all day and party all night. One of the funniest things I ever saw was, well, I don't know if it was funny. It was funny now looking back, but T. Rude, we were all starving. T. Rude found these steaks in the refrigerator. And I don't know if we were supposed to eat them or not, but we didn't care. He grilled those things for probably an hour. He was slow cooking them. He was putting butter on them. He was just like Chef Boyardee, man. He was going and he was so proud of them. And we all ate, except T. Rude. He didn't get a chance to eat yet. And everybody had finished up eating and I was starting to clean up the house, because I was trying to be responsible while so drunk I can hardly walk, being responsible. And there was one steak left. I took it And I threw it to the dog. I said, "Here, Brownie." And it was like a cartoon. T-Root was like, "No." Because he didn't eat yet. I didn't realize it. And right in his face, Brownie just ate it right off. It was great. So, yeah, we always had a lot of fun there. I saw a dude named Mike Davis play like 3 holes naked in the middle of the town. And it wasn't even dark out. I don't know why. Chris Tyler flew in from Winfield because I was living in Winfield the last couple of years I ran it. He flew in from Winfield. He flying his own plane, and he brought Twitch. And Steven had never flown or anything. They're in this little bitty plane, and just minutes out from landing, Twitch just loses it all over the inside of the airplane, and so we had to deal with that. I had to drive to the Ness City Airport. There's an airport in Ness City, a grass runway, I think, and pick them up. And yeah, man, it was always so much fun there, and just feeling like we could do anything we wanted and not get in trouble because we pretty much could.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one more good story about Ransom though.
Go for it.
We played all day, and we were. It's actually maybe 2 stories, and we were, drinking heavily all day. And we get back to the in-laws' house, and they had a pogo stick there. And do you know Dave Roberts?
Yeah.
Dave Roberts got the pogo stick out and completely hustled us. He got on there and acted like he couldn't jump. And Dave didn't drink, but Mace and myself and Dustin Widener sure as hell did. So we all try to jump on it. We're like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, you're never going to get this. So Dave put wanted to bet $10 that he could out jump all of us. And we're all, no way. So we all do our best, and Dave starts jumping on it. Next thing I know, Dave takes his hands off of it, and he's still jumping on this pogo stick. We're like, what the hell? So, of course, we paid up, and then, as you would do in a smart situation like this, we decided it was a good idea to race the bike around the block at 2:30 in the morning, drunk as hell, to see who could ride the bike the fastest. So, of course, Dave went first, and Dave cheated. He cut through the yards and just set this blistering time. And then stunned. No, Mace went around the block. And, of course, he wasn't smart enough to cut like Dave. And he comes around this corner that was cement going to sand. It wipes out, dude. He had scuff marks on his whole face and his knee. And I think that was the night before the tournament. So, yeah, too many fun times at Ransom for it not to be up there in the most fun tournament.
That's a good one. A good one. Let's transition a little bit. Dynamic Discs. Tell us about that company, your relationship with them, and Rusco. I know that's probably meant a lot to you over the years, and talk about DD.
All right, I'm gonna have to be kind of careful on this probably, but I met Rusco for the first time at Mighty Shunganunga. Is the first time I really remember Jeremy. I remember that he hit an ace, and he was with Trent, Big O. And the second I knew that I loved that dude, I was driving down the highway on the way home, and Trent came ripping by me, passing me, and Rusco was hanging out the window, flashing this ace money at me. And I thought, man, I like that guy. So, if I like somebody, I'm going to seek him out. I'm going to talk to him and started seeing him at more tournaments. At that time, Dynamic Disc wasn't a thing. I mean, he may have been doing his eBay store a little bit and selling out of the Exploder, but it was just kind of getting started. And just to be there to see it start from basically nothing and build up and just keep getting bigger. And I remember we were at Pratt. Don't think Jeremy was running it, but he had a bunch of these Gateway putters with a DD stamp on them. And after the Ring of Fire, I was just hustling these putters. I was talking them up, and people were buying them, and it was just like at that point, it was like Jeremy saw in me. He's like, "Whoa, this guy can help me out." So we then went to Great Bend, where Jeremy was from, and we did a little clinic at the park, and we stayed the night with his granny. And pretty much everybody went to sleep except me and Granny, and we stayed up all night long playing cards. She was smoking these cigarettes, and I was drinking beer, and we were just having a blast. So, from that point on, Jeremy and I were pretty tight, and started going to Texas with them and helping run events. I really think that myself and Jeremy Kendi were super important in the development of the tournament scene for DD in Texas. I feel like we busted our butts so hard at all of these tournaments, not warming up, being the first ones up, last ones in. And I mean, there's a lot of other people that helped and did a lot of great things too. But I really feel like Kendi and I kind of got the ball going there. The first tournament we were supposed to do was at Louisville Lake, and that was flooded. We ended up at Cedar Hill, and we met Brian Lamoureux, who became important parts of DD, but that's all a different story. But I remember as things were progressing with DD, it was like the first time that the Glass Blown Open was really catching some traction, and we were getting people from beyond Kansas and Oklahoma. And I was working in Winfield, and I'll bet I talked to Jeremy more than he wanted me to, because somebody would sign up and I'd be like, "Hey man, we got a guy from Minnesota. We got a guy from Ohio." And I'm sure he was like, "Smitty, bro, I'm trying to work here. Just leave me alone." But I just kept, it was just awesome to see that grow. And then, my first big decision ever with DD came when they started making discs. I was on Team Discraft at that point, and DD was going to make Frisbees, and Rusco called me up, and he's like, "Hey, we're getting in with Latitude. They're going to make our discs. What do you think?" So and at one point we thought we were going to be able to do like DD stamps on Discraft discs, and I was going to, but then it got to the point where if you're gonna support it, you're just gonna have to go with it. And knowing Rusco, and I still believe in that dude today, right? I think anything that he does is ultimately he's just so smart and such a hard worker.
He's got vision.
Yeah. So I just knew things were going to work out. So it was a no-brainer for me to say, "Yeah, dude, I'm going with you, man. You're my dude. You're my ride or die." So I made that call to Discraft and told him, "Look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm sorry." I was 100% okay with it because I was on Discraft. I only knew a few of the people. I didn't have a great, real connection with Discraft. And at that time, we would cram 6 or 7 people in the RV and go to Texas and just have a blast. So that was the group I wanted to be with. And then, things were awesome for a lot of years. I mean, it was so much fun being a part of this whole growth. And then I don't really remember the exact point when it happened, but I can remember going into the store in Emporia, and it was all the distribution center was at the old warehouse. They still had the store downtown where most of the daily stuff happened. And I went in there and I didn't really know anybody. And all the people working were people that I didn't know, didn't have a connection with. I'm like, man, this is weird. This is really weird. And then DD got a whole bunch of touring players that weren't part of our crew. They got Eric Oakley and AJ Risley and Paige came back to DD and that whole crew, Zoe and all these people, and Zach Melton. And everything went from focused on all of us to focused on just this small core of people, right? And that hurt, and it still makes me mad today thinking about that. The fact that all of us local guys were so invested in everything, and then it's like it just got big and it just went beyond us, and then we were just kind of there to be part of it. But I still believed in Rusco, and I have no complaints with any of the discs that I throw. I love all of them, and even if I wasn't on Team DD, I guarantee you I'm probably going to bag a suspect. I don't have any problems with any of my discs, and I'm kind of at a point now in my life, 50 whatever I am too, that a few years ago I looked at it all and I thought, man, what's going on here, dude? Are you in DD because that's your crew like it used to be, or are you now making it more of a business decision for you? Because I get some bonuses and I get some allotment stuff, and I said, yeah, that's what it is to you now. It's a business decision. But I'm at a point where, if they called me tomorrow and said, hey, look, we don't need you anymore, we're done with you, I'd be mad, but I'd get over it and I'd get my stupid disc golf bag like I do every time something crappy goes on in my life, and I'd go down to the park and I would just play disc golf with the same discs and just keep on keeping on. Now, would I try some other discs? Well, of course, but I love what I have, and they're good stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean that's I think people probably wanted to hear how a little bit of how it started, and you've been there for most of it, right? And most of what of what a lot of us think about when we think about DD, right? And what it looks like, and what it did look like, and what it looks like today. And yeah, I mean it's a long time. It's a lot of years. So,
And I'm still proud to. Well, I'm wearing a hat now and
yeah.
wear the shirt. I'm still proud to say that I'm part of the team. But I also think that sponsorship has kind of taken a different role in disc golf today as well. Maybe that's something we talked about something I would change. It seems like so many people are just dying to be sponsored by something that they're willing to give up everything they already have to go to this greener pasture, and because they're promised whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't really truly believe in the product. And that's where I think I'm different, is I do believe in it. It's fantastic stuff. I see lots of people do amazing things with it. And yeah, so
Well,
anywho.
it's a good segue. So let's talk about something you are passionate about. I got it right here. How did this come to be?
Yeah, I was living in Newton, and I had ran some tournaments in the past, and it was getting to a point where you couldn't take 2 bins of discs to a tournament and make everybody happy. I had to do something to expand what was going on, and I needed a way to get discs a little bit cheaper to make it worth it to have to buy so many to hope to sell so many so you can break even and then start making your profit, right? So I didn't have a name, I didn't have anything, and I remembered these old VHS tapes that I had from somewhere of the highs or nots. And I did some research and I couldn't find anything about them anymore. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go with it. It's probably just nothing. It'll probably be normal Smitty thing. We'll try it and we'll give up. But yeah, I just kind of went with it. And then Crispin gave me that very first logo with the skull and the astronaut helmet, and that's kind of where the whole space thing happened. Crispin made that logo that you're wearing now, which is kind of a logo that can just go with anything. You could wear that to the concert, and people would wonder what it was, and maybe spark up a conversation. It says nothing disc golf, but
it happened. I was in Vegas just a month ago, for a bachelor party, and 2 or 3 different times sitting at card tables, I had dudes ask me, "Hey man, that hat looks good. Where'd you get that? What's that logo for?" And of course, I was happy to tell them. So this is a pretty dope logo. Crispin did pretty good on that one.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, I mean that's where the whole thing came about, was just a means of maybe getting a little discounted stuff. And then I kind of had people starting to like follow it a little bit and get excited about it. And yeah, I mean it's just kind of what it is now. I just use it to have a brand, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Well, you've done a lot. We'll talk about brand. You've done a lot for disc golf in Kansas, as we talked about before. 2 more questions for you before we have a little fun.
Okay.
What do you this contribution you've been to the game in general, the KDGA, how do you want to look at it, and how do you hope to be remembered whenever that time comes?
All right, you kind of cut out first. So my biggest contribution, is that what you said?
Yeah, either to the game or to the KDGA or whatever, and then how do you hope folks remember Smitty when it's time for that to come?
Okay, well, start with the latter part. How do I hope they remember me? I hope they just remember that I was always there for disc golf, and I try to help out with whatever I can do. Like if somebody says, "Hey, do you got anything for a CTP?" I'm there. I'm the man for that. But at the same point, I'm not afraid to tell somebody, "Dude, I don't like the way you're doing that. It's not right." And sometimes that gets me in trouble. So I just hope they remember that I'm a straight shooter, and I tried to do what I thought was best first for most people, and then secondly for what was best for me. So sometimes I feel like I worry more about what I'm doing versus what I need to do for myself. And that's I guess that's a great thing and a bad thing at the same time. And my biggest contribution, I would just say, hopefully, I guess, keeping the KDJ rolling for so many years. It's been a long time, like we said earlier, to keep that going. And there's been times where Mason and I have been sorting food drive discs for hours and been like, "Dude, man, it's time. We got to get somebody else to do this for us and take this over." But we're always like, "And if we bail, then it's all going to fall on Kevin, and Kevin's going to bail, and then Craig's going to give up." And so we just keep plucking along. So I just hope people realize that I'm making millions of dollars off of the KDGA, and no, we've been doing all this for so many years and losing our own money or floating, because, "Hey, can you ship this to me?" "Yeah, sure." Or ordering things and then driving them all over the state to deliver them. And I just hope people realize that I was an important cog in that process. Mace is an important person in that process. And then all the other people who've come in to be part of that. I just hope that I'm grouped into that, kept it going for so long.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, yeah, you guys keeping the KDGA going for one, but I think you said it. Maybe for me, maybe even more importantly than that. I mean, one doesn't come without the other, so they kind of go hand in hand. But the food drive, right? The thousands of dollars, the hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point that's been raised through that initiative has been great and something we hope to continue for as long as we're still part of the sport for sure. So
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's actually going to be some food drives throughout the summer now
yeah,
because we ordered a lot of discs and the weather was not great. So we have so many still in the basement over there at Brandon's that we're going to try to get some people to do some food drives over the summer. I know Anson's doing one at Millbrook, and I hope that some other people will do some things too. So yeah, I think that probably is a big bullet point on my resume is starting that stupid thing and keeping it going for so long.
I think so for sure. Well, last real question before we have a little bit of fun, and it's quite simple, and you can answer it however you want to. But what does disc golf mean to Smitty,
Yeah,
or has meant or has meant to who you are or your life? Right? What does it mean to you?
it's there's only a few things that are probably more valuable to me than disc golf. Obviously, my family, and but disc golf has gotten me through so many things that people don't know about. That I'm I'm notorious for hiding my emotions and not letting people know how I really feel. And I went through some real rough times when I left Winfield and went to Newton, and things were tough, man. And I realized at that point that I was in a bad place with alcohol, and I swore it off. And I was battling some depression, and I was on medication for that, and that wasn't working. And quite honestly, my life was a shithole. And disc golf is probably the only thing that really truly kept me going. I would get through my workday faking like I was happy, acting like I was happy, and as soon as day was over, I would be out the door, out to Camp Hawk. It was awesome because there was nobody there, and it would just be me, and I could go play and get away from every other thing except for throwing this piece of plastic through the trees and just not worry about anything else that was going on in my life. And I don't know how many times I would make it 6 or 7 or 8 holes, and I would just be there on the tee pad, just sitting there thinking about what's going on, calling Kendi. Kendi was my rock at that time. I could, if I was struggling with something, I could call him up, and by the time I would hang up the phone and play the next couple holes, he would be out there, helping me basically survive. As sad as that sounds, that's the point I was at. And I've met so many, like I said, important people in my life through disc golf that I've always got somebody I can reach out to and talk to, and ask for help. And I think that's an amazing thing about disc golfers, and something I strive to do is if somebody needs something in the disc golf community, disc golfers are gonna step up and help. My bag got stolen. I got a bag. You need some discs?
Yeah.
That's just kind of people that disc golfers are. And I'm so glad that I have those people in my life to help me. So yeah. So disc golf, yeah, I don't know what I would do without it, honestly, Ronnie. It's a thing. And like I said, I'm really good at masking what's really going on inside of me at times. I try to act like, things don't matter or I'm all happy go lucky. And even today, sometimes I'm down and out, and that's my only way to deal with things is disappear.
Yeah. Disappear, right? It's
Yeah.
been therapy for a lot of us, right? There's a lot of times where that's what it was. You're not going out to play disc golf. You're going out to have a little therapy with and get away from things. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask that one because I knew the majority of that answer, and I felt like it was one folks would appreciate, and two that folks give you a little opportunity to maybe pull that mask down a little bit and show a little vulnerability, and I think people will appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Let's have a little fun. So we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about any of these, by the way. I did all this on my own. But it's not a real game, but we're gonna call it the Ring of Fire. We're gonna throw just
something that we need to bring back.
It's something we need to bring back, and we're gonna bring it back in a question form today, right? So these are gonna be. We're done with all the serious questions. I've got 7 or 8 questions here for you. We'll just run through them. Toilet paper, over or under?
Usually on the back of the toilet.
Okay,
but if I put it on a little older, over.
Okay.
Mullet. No, not a mullet. That'd be bangs.
A skill or a talent that you wish you had?
Biting my tongue, holding my tongue sometimes would be something that I should practice. My mouth sometimes gets me in trouble, and a lot of times Jennifer will tell me, you don't have to say everything you think. So, but I'd also like to be able to juggle chainsaws.
Juggling chainsaws and shutting the hell up. Those are 2 vastly different ones, but we'll accept both answers. This might not be one Jennifer would appreciate as much. Your all-time.
Sorry.
That wasn't the question, but we could throw that one in there too. Without the question, we know the answer. Well, maybe your answer here will be telling then. Your all-time celebrity crush.
Oh, wow. Man, I tell you, there's a lot. There's a lot. But if the all-time, like the biggest, hardest, like, oh, I love her so much. Christina Applegate, Kelly Bundy.
Kelly Bundy would be good. That's a good one.
Yeah, like when you're in high school and she's in high school and she's so hot. And yeah.
He's a good one. Elizabeth Shue for me.
How about Baywatch, Pamela Anderson?
Pam's pretty good.
Have you seen her lately, though?
Someone apparently juggled chainsaws right to her head.
And then, I'm not gay, but
right. Fair enough.
Levine.
Adam Levine.
He's like my hero guy. That guy is so freaking cool.
It's your man crush.
I guess so.
We're learning. See, you've maybe we're taking the vulnerability thing a little too far.
Jennifer hates him too.
All right. You don't have to have this song on all the time, right? It's not playing all the time, but the playlist only plays one song from now until forever. You only get one more song. What is it?
Well, it's definitely going to be probably a rap song. It's not going to be this modern day rap. It's probably going to be something either from Shady or maybe even older, maybe like Snoop Dre days,
Cube.
but it's probably going to be just one song. Man, that's tough, Ronnie. How about I go Slim and Dre, Guilty Conscience.
It's a good one. I thought you might go. I thought you might go Shady. I thought that was a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, do you know who Knox Hill is?
I don't.
Well, he's one of these reactor guys. He's like, I think the best one, and he just broke down an old Shady song just a couple weeks ago, and yeah, yeah.
Well, M's.
So,
I mean, you can. Yeah, might be our age or might be just our era, but he's
or
the
it
goat.
might just be that we're cool.
He's the goat as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, couple of disc golf ones. Your dream disc golf vacation. The course you want to go play, the tournament you want to go play, the disc golf vacation you want to take.
Man, it would be awesome to go over there and play the Beast in that new course, the European Open, in that venue with all of those people, and just be part of that and see what that was really truly like. I also would love to play De La Viega. I haven't played that, which I mean that one could easily become a reality. But yeah, just go. Yeah, either of those would be fantastic. Maybe play De La Viega during the Masters Cup at some point.
Yeah, that would be very cool, man. That's those are a couple that are certainly on my list too, the bucket list.
Well, you're going to be in California a lot now.
The De La one is going to happen for me, and it may happen before this year is out for me. I've got a lot of branches in California now, and I think maybe one within 50 miles of Santa Cruz now. So when I get to that branch, I'm sorry, Mr. Branch Manager, I've got to cut out at noon today. We got work to go do at the ocean. So
Well, if you need to do a future fire extinguisher exchange guy training in Santa Cruz.
Oh, I know a guy.
Yeah, we go.
All right. We just got the announcement from the PDGA that we're having a disc golf world championship doubles invitational, and Smitty got the number one pick.
Oh.
Who does Smitty sign up for that tournament with?
Anybody? Oh man. Well, I'm going to try to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably just going to pick the dude who I think is going to give me the best chance of winning. And unfortunately, he might be the guy that annoys me the most during the round. I'm going to have to take. No, you know what? I'm not taking Gannon Burr. I'm taking Anthony frickin' Barella, baby.
Yeah, I wondered if you'd go with one of the guys that throws at 800 miles to just like get to go see like what it's like to play one of them holes from way up there.
Yeah. Ronnie, what are you doing back there? Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably pick one of those dudes to go bang with. Or if I could go back in time, I'd take Vintage Beast.
We'll give you like 2014 Paul. Something like that.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Probably a good pick.
All
right, last one.
Rick's a banger. I'd take him. He's my guy.
Yeah, Rick, or roll back to old Kenny, or yeah, you can get it however you want it. There's a lot of good ways to go. Last one, man. If you could have people describe Smitty with one word, what would you want that word to be?
Passionate.
Perfect. I don't know a better way to get out of it than that.
I mean, Handsome would be nice too.
I mean, but we do want something realistic. So we want something realistic. I mean, you might want that. I guess you could want that. I don't know how often it would be chosen.
No, I think passionate's a good adjective. It's dude, anything I ever try or experiment with, I get fixated on it, and it's a terrible trait to have. But then I'm like so excited that I want to just share it with people. Like I learned how to solve Rubik's cubes one winter in Newton, and it was like I can't do it anymore. I forgot like I had this list of algorithms in my brain, and I forgot most of them. But I just learned how to do it, and that was just like all I wanted to do was, as nerdy as that sounds, solve this. And then these kids at school started doing it, and I just think whatever I'm into, I'm going to let somebody know, and they're going to know that I care about it. And luckily for me, that's been disc golf for a long, long time.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's all I got for you, man. That's the end of it. I had fun.
That was fun. Yeah. That's fun. We had a pretty good crew of people watching there, I guess. So, I mean, we've got 14 on now. Does anybody in the comments want to shoot me a question? I'll happily answer it if anybody can bust one in there.
A live one. There you go.
So, yeah, that's fun. We need to. We also need to start working a little earlier on our next guest, and not wait until we're 4 days out to try to hustle one up.
It's hard. It's hard for people to lock it down that far in advance, and then we get kind of caught up at the end, and then we're scrambling a couple times. We haven't had to do that much.
Right.
It has been a little more complicated lately, just because we've talked to so many people already.
Mm-hmm.
What are we in? We're somewhere in the 30s or 40s in episodes now. So
right. Yeah, and if anybody wants us to hunt somebody down or has a connection for somebody, that'd be great. Like I said, I really want to talk to Ron Rice. I think that would be incredible. I would love to get Pete Cashin on. I think Mark Wisby would be a good one. He was a old time Kansas. I don't know if he played much KDJ, but big time, representative of disc golf in the area for disc sports. He's a freestyler as well. So yeah. So if anybody has any people they would like us to hunt down or have a connection for one of them, for sure. And I do want to do that round table with all those guys too.
Yeah, it'd be fun. And even if we can't make that happen, we've got to do a Harv part 2 at some point.
Harv and Bud at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know if we've got enough bandwidth in our internet combined to make that happen.
Right on. So, all right. Well, I guess that wraps it up, man. Everybody that watched live, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. People that watch it on Disc and Deals archive over the next few days, I hope that you leave a comment and let us know what you thought. So, right on, dude. Thanks, man.
Brother. Yep, appreciate it.
All right, here we go. We out.
Later.